Arrow. Holidays. 10 Things to Recollect About Memorial Day. Chip Samodvilla, Getty Images. Memorial Day is far quite just a 3-day weekend and an opportunity to urge the year's first sunburn. It's a time to recollect the lads and ladies who sacrificed their lives for his or her country. Here are some facts to offer the vacation some perspective. 1. Memorial Day began as a response to the war. Memorial Day was a response to the unprecedented carnage of the war, during which a complete of some 620,000 soldiers died between each side. The loss of life and its effect on communities throughout the country led to many spontaneous commemorations of the dead. The next year, a gaggle of girls decorated the graves of soldiers buried during a Vicksburg, Mississippi, cemetery. Logan delivered the principal address. The ceremony gave Carbondale its claim to the primary organized, community-wide Memorial Day observance. Although many towns claimed the title, it had been Waterloo that won congressional recognition because the birthplace of Memorial Day. 2. Major General John A. Logan made the day official. General Logan, the speaker at the Carbondale gathering, was also commander of the Grand Army of the Republic, a corporation of Union veterans. 11. Which put aside May 30, 1868, for the aim of strewing with flowers, or otherwise decorating the graves of comrades who died in defense of their country during the late rebellion. 3. Memorial Day was originally referred to as Memorial Day. The holiday was long referred to as Memorial Day for the practice of decorating graves with flowers, wreaths, and flags. The name Memorial Day goes back to 1882, but the older name didn't disappear until after War II. 4. Memorial Day is more of a franchise than a legal holiday. Calling Memorial Day a national holiday may be a little bit of a misnomer. While there are 10 federal holidays created by Congress, including Memorial Day, they apply only to federal employees and therefore the District of Columbia. For the remainder folks, our holidays were enacted state by state. New York was the primary state to designate Memorial Day a national holiday, in 1873. May 30th Memorial Day until after War I, by which era its purpose had been broadened to incorporate those that died altogether the country's wars. 5. In 1868, future President Garfield delivered a really, very long speech on the importance of Memorial Day. On May 30, 1868, President Ulysses S. Grant presided over the primary Memorial Day ceremony at Arlington National Cemetery, which, until 1864, was Confederate General Robert E. Lee's plantation. Some 5,000 people attended on a spring day which, the NY Times reported, was somewhat too warm for comfort. The principal speaker was James A. Garfield, a war general, Republican congressman from Ohio, and future president. "I am oppressed with a way of the impropriety of uttering words on this occasion," Garfield began, then continued to utter them. As the songs, speeches, and sermons ended, the participants helped to embellish the graves of the Union and Confederate soldiers buried within the cemetery. 6. CBS helped identify one among the unknown soldiers. Unknown soldiers from War II and therefore the Korean War were subsequently interred within the tomb on Memorial Day 1958. 14 years later, spurred by an investigation by CBS News, the Department of Defense removed the remains from the Tomb of the Unknowns for DNA testing. Blassie's remains to unknown did so struggling from veterans groups to honor a casualty from the Vietnam War, the NY Times reported in 1998. His crypt at Arlington remains permanently empty. Rolling Thunder members and motorcyclists await the blessing of the bikes to start out at the Washington National Cathedral, May 26, 2017 in Washington, D.C. for the primary Rolling Thunder rally so as to draw attention to Vietnam War soldiers still missing in action and prisoners of war. By 2002, the ride had swelled to 300,000 bikers, many of them veterans, and in 2018, the numbers were likely closer to 500,000. Is constant the tradition within the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic, consistent with WUSA 9. Now referred to as Rolling to Recollect, 2020's ride are going to be a touch different. Instead of many thousands of riders browsing Washington, D.C., organizers are asking participants riders will then be ready to track and share their progress using the Reaver app. Who die by suicide a day? General Order No. 11 stated that, in this observance no sort of ceremony is prescribed, but over time, several customs and symbols became related to the vacation. Most notably, it's customary on Memorial Day to fly the flag at half-staff until noon, then raise it to the highest of the staff until sunset. Religion with all who died. The sale of poppies has supported the work of the veterans of foreign wars. Several southern states still put aside each day for honoring the Confederate dead, which is typically called Confederate Memorial Day, consistent with AL.com. Robert E. Lee's birthday and Confederate Memorial Day on Jefferson Davis's birthday, respectively, but they do not outright declare them state holidays. 10. Each Memorial Day may be a little different. There's no question that Memorial Day may be a solemn event. Still, do not feel too guilty about doing something frivolous like hosting a barbecue over the weekend. After all, you were not the one who instituted the Indianapolis 500 on May 30, 1911. That credit goes to Indianapolis businessman Carl Fisher. Lincoln's surviving son, Robert Todd Lincoln, also attended. In an act of national unity. The time was chosen because 3 p.m. This post originally appeared in 2008. The 10 Best Memorial Day 2020 Sales. iRobot, GoWise, Funko via Wayfair, Entertainment Earth. The Memorial Day sales have started early this year, and it is easy to seek out yourself drowning in offers for reasonable mattresses, appliances, shoes, and grills. To assist you narrow through the noise and specialize in the simplest deals around, we threw together a number of our favorite Memorial Day sales happening immediately. Take a glance below. 1. Lisa. A Lisa Hybrid Mattress. A mixture of memory foam and micro-coil springs to stay you comfortable in any position you sleep in. Find it, Lisa. 2. Sur la Table. This one is labeled as simply a summer sale, but the deals are good only through Memorial Day, so you ought to get there too quickly. This sale takes up to 20% off outdoor grilling and dining essentials, like cast iron shrimp pans $32, a chrome steel burger grilling basket $16, and, of course, your choice of barbecue sauce to travel alongside it. Find it, Sur la Table. 3. Wayfair. KitchenAid stand mixer on sale on Wayfair. Though you'll just about find any household appliance imaginable at a coffee price, the sale is highlighted by $130 off a KitchenAid stand mixer and 62% off this 8-in-1 GoWise air fryer. And that's only a part of the brand's multiple Memorial Day sales, which you'll browse here. Find it, Wayfair. 4. Blue Apron. Find it, Blue Apron. 5. The PBS Store. Score 20% off site-wide at shop.pbs.org once you use the promo code TAKE20. This precious heat-changing King Henry VIII mug, $11, that reveals fates of his many wives once you pour your morning coffee. Find it, the PBS Store. 6. Amazon. Eufy Robot Vacuum. While Amazon doesn't have a politician Memorial Day sale, right now, you'll take $100 off this outdoor grill from Weber. For more deals, just attend Amazon and have a glance around. 7. Backcountry. You can save to 50% on tents, hiking packs, outdoor wear, and more from brands like Patagonia, Marmot, et al. During Backcountry's Memorial Day sale. Find it, Backcountry. 8. Entertainment Earth. Funko Pops on sale on Entertainment Earth. From now until June 2nd, Entertainment Earth has a buy one, get one half off sale on select Funko Pops. Find it, Entertainment Earth. 9. MOOSEJAW. With the promo code SUNSCREEN, you'll take 20% off one full-price item. Find it, MOOSEJAW. 10. Osprey. Through May 25th, you'll save 25% on select summer items, and 40% off products from last season. This will include anything from hiking packs and luggage to outdoorsy socks and hats. So if you're planning on getting familiar with the good outdoors this summer, now you'll roll in the hay on a budget. Find it, Osprey. At Mental Floss, we only write on the products we love and need to share with our readers, so all products are chosen independently by our editors. Should receive a percentage of any sale made up of the links on this page. Arrow. History. The Arlington National Cemetery just opened its container from 1915, see what's inside. That red ribbon is the literal red tape that we now use as an idiom to explain bureaucratic processes. That red ribbon is the literal red tape that we now use as an idiom to explain bureaucratic processes. In the decades following the war, thousands of individuals assembled in Arlington National Cemetery's James R. Tanner Amphitheater to honor the fallen soldiers each May on Memorial Day, which we now call Memorial Day. By the first 20th century, the event had grown so popular that Congress agreed to create a replacement, larger arena in its place, the Memorial Amphitheater. When President Wilson laid the cornerstone on October 13, 1915, it contained a copper box with documents and mementos that captured the spirit of the age. Arlington National Cemetery celebrated the centennial of the amphitheater's dedication ceremony by opening the container and displaying them during a virtual exhibit. Inside the box was one among each coin utilized in 1915, residents, war veterans pamphlets, 4 problems with local newspapers, including the Washington Post and therefore the Refor the Washington Times, copies of the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution, an American flag, and a map of Pierre Charles L'Enfant's blueprints for building the town. As Smithsonian.com reports, a couple of these documents became outdated soon after being sealed within the box. The 1915 version of the Constitution had 17 amendments, but 2 new ones had been gone by the top of 1920, the 18th, prohibiting alcohol, and therefore the 19th, giving women the proper to vote. The American flag, on the opposite hand, was already inaccurate when it went into the container. Some of the things were wrapped in bureaucratic procedure, a seemingly insignificant detail that archivist of the US David S. Ferriero found especially exciting. All of the records within the National Archives, once they were moved into that building, were carefully protected with wrappings that were held alongside this bureaucratic procedure, he said during a statement. This is where the old saying comes from, about cutting through the bureaucratic procedure. It's actually, literally, the bureaucratic procedure. It was kind of a rush job, conservator Caitlin Smith told the Washington Post. But you'll understand the impulse to feature your name to history. You can learn more about the history of the Memorial Amphitheater and find out more about the exhibit here.